Welcome back to Newsmax Prime. What impact does serving as a pastor have in becoming President of the United States? That's a question commonly asked of 2016 presidential hopeful Mike Huckabee. Now Mike talks about how that calling has helped mold his candidacy in part 3 of our exclusive interview.
First of all, I'm not running for president because 25, 30 years ago I was a pastor. I was a lieutenant governor. I was 10 and a half years a governor. Repeatedly elected in the most democratic state in all of America, fought against the Clinton machine to get there, to stay there, and to survive there, and to succeed there. But even beyond that, I would also remind them that there is no job in the world, period, that better prepares a person to understand the frailties and realities of human life than being a pastor. The 12 years I was a pastor, which by the way was not my first career, it was my second. My first career was broadcasting, radio, television, advertising. Then I went into the pastorate for 12 years and it was like graduate school for me. But here's what I learned. I was in a job in which I saw the best and worst of humanity. I saw it from the cradle to the grave. There is not a social pathology in all the world that I couldn't put a name and a face to. So if you want to ask me about young teenage girls getting pregnant, I could tell you I talked to those girls before they went and told their parents they were pregnant. What about elderly people who have run out of money and they're having to decide between medicine or food? I knew those people. I was in their home. I was with those families when the children had to become the parents of their aging parents. I was there at the bedside when people had to make the decision to turn off life support. I counseled their sons and daughters through drug addiction when they were teenagers, and I watched people who did everything from commit suicide to go through the most horrible moments of life. I also saw them at their best. I was the guy who looked out there in the church and people that everyone thought were the epitome of perfection. I knew the dark secrets about them that no one else knew, no one but God. And I cannot tell you how much that changed my understanding of human beings in a good way.
There are always some surprises. It would appear right now that one such surprise is Donald Trump. Your take on the entry of Mr. Trump into this mix of Republican candidates?
He's as welcome to the race as anyone else. I'm certainly not taking the bait on commenting on what he said or what he should have said, because look, I'm making speeches every day. I'm happy to comment on those. I couldn't start commenting on the other 374 Republicans running for office, because then I'd never get my message out there. I'd be just commenting on somebody else's message. So Republicans need to focus on what they're doing, why they're running, swim in their own lane. This is the Olympics. This is the big league. Don't jump in somebody else's lane and swim on top of them. Just get over in your lane and swim, do your swim, and let people judge at the end whether or not you're the gold medalist.
I hate to mention these two words together. It's almost vice president.
Which guy were you thinking about to serve with me?
That's obviously the proactive attitude. Let me reverse the paradigm. Is there anyone with whom you would not serve running now, were circumstances to indicate that the #1 slot might not come your way?
Well, I'm not even thinking in terms of it. Let me say, nobody runs for office to take second place. There's no prize for second place. And I've been through this process before. I came in second to McCain in 2008 in the Republican primary. There was no particular advantage to that. And I'm not running to, be the vice president. I'm not running to be a cabinet member. As I've told people, there's only one address in Washington, D.C. that I have any interest in residing in. And if that one's not available, then right now I don't have any other plans whatsoever.
Down to our last minute, what is the biggest lesson you learned between your experience in 2008 running for this job and where you are now?
I think the biggest thing I learned is that be patient in this process. I watch a lot of guys that are in it for the first time. There is a sense of which they allow the press to crack the whip and get them to react to things and schedule things and do things because they feel like that all is going to be decided in July of 2015 before the first caucus vote's even cast in February of next year. I learned very, very clearly that this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And one has to be methodical, thorough, and take this one step at a time. Lay out your plan. And the old saying I remembered as a kid in Sunday school when I was 6 years old, plan your work, work you plan. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing at this point. Don't get all shaken up because the polls are up one day and down the next. Plan your work, work you plan. Stay on your feet. Keep your message sincere, honest, thorough, and get out there and get voters one at a time. That's how you win.
And Newsmax wants to know which Republican candidate might have your vote. Is it Donald Trump, Mike Huckabee, Scott Walker, or someone else? Cast your vote at newsmaxpolls.com and let us know. We'll be back.